Alright, let's talk about something that's got the watch world buzzing. Timex just dropped a new piece that's basically a Cartier Tank for the price of a couple of fancy dinners. But here's the thing, this isn't just another budget watch trying to mimic luxury. It's a clever reissue of a 70s Timex design, and personally, I think that's where it gets really interesting. It's not just a knockoff, it's a nod to their own history while giving a middle finger to the idea that timeless design has to cost a fortune. So, let's start with the hook, Cartier taste, Timex budget. That's the tagline here, and it's not just marketing fluff. The 1976 Lexington Reissue is clearly inspired by the Tank, the rectangular case, the polished finish, the Roman numerals, but it's priced at $149. That's less than a tank of gas in some cities. What makes this really interesting is how Timex is playing the long game here. They are not just chasing trends, they are digging into their archives and proving that good design doesn't have to be exclusive. Now, let's break it down. The watch is based on the 1976 Cavatina, a vintage Timex piece that Reddit sleuths quickly identified as the inspiration. What many people don't realize is that the Cavatina originally retailed for just $15 or $16 back in the day. Fast forward to 2026, and Timex is bringing it back with a few modern tweaks. The Quartz movement, for example, it's not mechanical like the original, but here's the kicker, it's intentional. By going Quartz, they keep the price down, and honestly, who's going to notice? Even Cartier does the same thing with some of their Quartz tanks. It's a smart move, and it shows Timex understands the assignment. One thing that immediately stands out is the attention to detail. The dial is silver with a vertical brush, a small touch, but it adds a level of sophistication you wouldn't expect at this price point. The mineral crystal is raised, giving it that vintage plexiglass vibe without feeling cheap. And the faux crack leather strap. I'll admit, I'm usually not a fan of faux anything, but this one doesn't scream budget. Plus, the quick-release system means you can swap it out in seconds if it's not your style. From my perspective, these little details are what separate a good homage from a great one. But here's the bigger picture, Timex is doing something really clever here. They are not just copying Cartier, they are democratizing the Tank's aesthetic. The Tank is arguably the most timeless watch design ever, but let's be real, not everyone can drop $13,100 on the Quartz version in yellow gold. Timex is saying, hey, you can have that look for $149. And in my opinion, that's a game changer. It's not about replacing Cartier, it's about making great design accessible. What this really suggests is that Timex is becoming a master of the homage game. They are not just slapping together cheap copies, they are reimagining their own history while giving a nod to the icons. If you take a step back and think about it, this is part of a bigger trend in the watch industry. Brands are realizing that nostalgia sells, but it's how you package it that matters. Timex isn't just selling a watch, they are selling a story, one that connects their past to the present. Now, let's address the elephant in the room, is this a Cartier killer? Honestly, no. And it doesn't need to be. Cartier is Cartier, it's luxury, it's heritage, it's status. But what Timex is doing is carving out its own space. They are saying, you don't need to spend a fortune to appreciate great design. And that's a message that resonates, especially in a world where luxury is becoming increasingly out of reach for most people. A detail I find fascinating is how Timex is positioning itself as the second most valuable Swiss watch brand after Rolex. That's wild when you think about it. They are not just a budget brand anymore, they are a player in the industry. And moves like this, reissuing a 70s design with a modern twist, what's driving that success? It's not just about the price, it's about the storytelling, the attention to detail, and the understanding of what people want. So, here's my closing thought, Timex isn't just making watches, they are making a statement. They are proving that you don't need to break the bank to own something beautiful and timeless. And in a world where luxury often feels out of reach, that's a pretty powerful message. Personally, I think this is just the beginning for Timex. They've tapped into something bigger, the desire for accessibility without sacrificing style. And if this is any indication, I can't wait to see what they do next. What do you think? Is this a watch you'd wear, Or is it just a clever marketing play? Let me know in the comments below.